The setup why you're too dangerous to a narcissist. Picture this. A narcissist thrives on control, weaving webs of manipulation to feed their fragile ego. They're like psychological vampires, draining others to feel powerful. But then they meet you, someone with a fortified psyche, a strong sense of self, or an uncanny ability to see through their games. You're not just a challenge, you're a threat. In Jungian terms, you've tapped into your individuated self, a state where you're aligned with your authentic core, making you less susceptible to their shadow-driven tactics. Jung, the Swiss psychological genius, taught us that the psyche is a battleground of archetypes, universal patterns like the shadow, our hidden flaws, the persona, our social mask, and the self, our true, integrated essence. A narcissist's psyche is dominated by an inflated persona and a repressed shadow, which they project onto others to avoid facing their own insecurities. But when they encounter someone like you, who's done the Jungian work of integrating their shadow and embracing their self, their usual tricks, gaslighting, love bombing, or guilt-tripping, bounce off like arrows against a steel shield. You're too awake, too whole, too dangerous. The narcissist's one trick: weaponizing projection. So, what's the one trick a narcissist pulls when they can't manipulate you? They double down on projection, but with a sinister twist. They try to smear your reputation to isolate you and regain control. Jung would call this a desperate dance of the shadow, where the narcissist projects their own unacknowledged flaws onto you, painting you as the villain to anyone who'll listen. This isn't just a tantrum, it's a calculated move to neutralize the threat you pose by turning your strength into a perceived weakness. Here's how it works. They can't control you directly. Your psychological resilience, your Jungian wholeness, makes you immune to their usual ploys. They sense you see their shadow, their shame, insecurity, or malice, and refuse to play their game. They attack your image. Unable to manipulate you, they shift to manipulating others' perceptions of you. They spread lies, exaggerate your flaws, or twist your strengths into something threatening. For example, your confidence becomes arrogance, your independence becomes instability, or your insight becomes craziness. They recruit allies. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious explains why this works. People often fall for gossip because it taps into shared fears or insecurities. The narcissist rallies flying monkeys, their enablers, to amplify the smear campaign, hoping to socially isolate you. The goal: by tarnishing your reputation, they aim to weaken your influence, make you doubt yourself, or provoke you into reacting emotionally, which they can then use to prove their narrative. This trick is thrillingly devious because it's a psychological chess move. The narcissist knows they can't beat you one-on-one, so they try to rewrite the board, turning the crowd against you. It's like a villain in a blockbuster movie orchestrating a public takedown of the hero, except this is real life, and the stakes are your peace of mind. Jung's lens: why this trick is a shadow show. Carl Jung would see this narcissistic ploy as a classic case of shadow projection. The narcissist's psyche is a fractured mess. Their grandiose persona hides a shadow brimming with self-loathing, envy, and fear. When you, with your integrated self, reflect their flaws back to them, even unintentionally, they can't handle the mirror. Instead of confronting their shadow, they project it onto you, accusing you of the very traits they refuse to face in themselves. Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But narcissists dodge this wisdom. They're allergic to self-reflection, so they weaponize their shadow, hurling it at you like a psychic grenade. Your strength, your Jungian individuation, becomes their trigger, because it exposes their lack of inner work. By smearing you, they're not just attacking you, they're running from their own psyche. Why it's exciting, and how you win. This psychological showdown is thrilling because it's a clash of archetypes, the narcissist's shadow versus yourself. It's like a Jungian epic where you, the hero, face a dragon that spews lies instead of fire. Here's why you have the upper hand and how to stay victorious. Stay grounded in yourself. Jung's individuation process, integrating your shadow and aligning with your true self, makes you unshakable. The narcissist's smear campaign only works if you doubt yourself. Trust your inner compass, and their lies lose power. Don't engage the drama. Reacting emotionally gives the narcissist ammunition. Jung would advise detachment, observing the situation like a wise sage. Let their projections fizzle out by refusing to fuel the fire. Build your tribe. Surround yourself with people who see your authenticity. Jung's collective unconscious reminds us that truth resonates deeply. Those aligned with their own self will recognize yours. Expose the shadow, subtly. You don't need to fight fire with fire. By living your truth and shining your light, you expose the narcissist's tactics without stooping to their level. Jung would call this active imagination, using your psyche's power to transform the narrative. The grand finale, you're the alchemist. In Jung's philosophy, life is an alchemical process of turning lead, our flaws, into gold, our integrated self. A narcissist's smear campaign is just another crucible, testing your resolve. By staying true to your Jungian journey, you not only deflect their trick but also emerge stronger, wiser, and more radiant. The narcissist, trapped in their shadow, can only watch as you soar beyond their reach. So, when a narcissist sees you as too dangerous to manipulate, their one trick, smearing your reputation, is no match for your psychological firepower. With Jung as your guide, you're not just surviving their game, you're rewriting the script, turning their projection into your victory. Now that's an exciting psychological thriller.